All right, guys, Eric and I are going to take you through a fun flow. We're going to start by setting up for a wide leg founder. He's breathing tall, his chin is back, the chest is up. He's going to bring his hands out. When he's ready, hips and hands are going to reach away. He's focusing on loading this glute and hamstring, tensioning everything through the posterior chain. Fingertips are squeezing, back is expanding and elevating towards the sky. Feet are grabbing into the ground, pulling towards center. Couple of breaths here. We're going to work into this one. Really focusing on finding where that central point of your body is. We're pulling everything towards it. 2 more breaths here. Really get some length in the back of the body. After your next breath, the hands are going to come to our sides. You're going to stand up. We're not going anywhere. We're setting up for a squat. Eric's ready. His hands are going to come into this short wing position. Hips are going to reach back as the hands start to travel out, and then the knees bend. Right into the surf squat. His left hand is going to go into the side of the right knee. Right thumb to the chest. Elbow comes across, focusing on length and breath. He's going to come back to center, stand out of his squat. Right back into the squat. Hand to knee, thumb across. Focusing that direction, lengthen the body. Back to the squat. He's going to stand right up and out of it, into his founder. 2 breaths here. Hips and hands are in tug of war. After the next breath, hands come to the sides, stand tall, set up for your squat. Breathing big, hips and hands are going to reach away from each other, knees bend. His left hand is going to come to the inside of his right knee, right thumb to chest, elbows reaching across the body as he looks in that direction. Left hand is pushing into the knee's pushing back, elbows coming across, creating length. Back to center, we stand tall, right into the next squat. Right hand to the inside of the left leg. Left elbows across the body. We're breathing and reaching the back of the ribs for the sky. 2 big breaths here. We're going to stand tall, into the founder. Hips and hands reach away. Let's check in. Feet are grabbing the ground, pulling towards center. We're looking to feel a connection up the inside thighs. Fingertips are squeezing. We're going to float them up off the line of the forehead. Chin back, chest up. The back of the neck is long. We're breathing. Hips and hands are playing tug of war right now. We're working for this one. 2 more breaths here. Strong. Hands come down to the sides. We're going to shake it off for a second. Setting up for the squat. Hands are going to come to that short wing. Reach out as the hips reach back. His left hand comes to the inside of the right knee. Right thumb to chest. Reaching across. Big expansive breaths here, guys. 3 breaths in this position. Working into it. We're going to come up and out, right back into the squat. Right hand to knee, elbows across the body. Lengthen this out. As that hand's working against the knee, you're focusing on lengthening everything, expanding those ribs. Stand tall, we're going to shake it off. Last founder, we're finishing with a strong founder here. Let's float the hands up off the line of the forehead. Let's focus now. 3 breaths with the hips and hands playing tug of war. Reaching those hips behind the heels. Looking for that tension up the back of the leg and the hamstrings. Hands are going to come to our sides. We're going to stand tall, we're going to shake it off for a second. We're going to go right foot forward, left foot back.
Yeah, in a second we are.
You wanted this. Right foot forward, left foot back. Let's check in on the details before we go into the exercise. Subtle degree of internal rotation on the front foot, 3 points of contact grabbing the ground. His back foot, the outside edge is parallel, 2 points of contact. Back heel's elevated. Elbows are wide, pushing out, strong. Expanding, elevating the back ribs. He's going to bring the hands forward, reaching forward as these hips reach back, loading 80% of his weight onto the front foot. He's going to start to rotate the head of his left pelvis to the inside of his right knee. This is a subtle degree of rotation. He's only going as far as his hips allow. From here, he's expanding, reaching those hands out, grabbing the ground with that front foot. 2 more breaths here, reaching the back ribs. He's going to come out of that rotation, pushing off his front foot. He's going to come back to center. We're going to scissor the legs towards each other, squeezing the fingertips. He's decompressing, expanding, elevating the ribs as the legs scissor towards each other. He's going to float his hands up off the line of his forehead. Knees are going to squeeze towards each other as he starts to spiral himself up away from center, focusing on his back hip reaching towards the front knee. Subtle degree of rotation. 2 breaths here. He's going to unspiral back to center. His hands will float down the chest. His left thumb meets the inside of the right palm as he draws back into his archer. Very important you note, the pelvis leads the way of this rotation. When he's ready, that hand's going to come back around from the hip. Let's do 2 more reps. I want you guys to really focus on where his rotation comes from. The hips are guiding everything. Strong. Let's come together, shake it off. Let's switch sides. Very important on the details in our setup. The left foot forward, our weight's 50-50 right now. The front foot has a subtle degree of internal rotation and 3 points of contact. Back heel's off the ground. He's going to expand and elevate the ribs. Breathing, tall and strong. The back of the neck is long. He's going to bring his fingertips in that sphere of tension. As he reaches the hips back, the hands are going to reach forward. He's loading 80% of the weight into his front foot for his woodpecker. Notice his knee's not bending forward. Everything's loaded in this front leg. Strong expansive breath. The right hip's going to rotate towards the inside of the left leg. Subtle degree of rotation. From here, we're going to focus on our breath. 2 more breaths in this position. Strong. Grabbing the ground with that front foot as his hips reaching towards the inside of the left leg. We're going to rotate back towards center. Chest is going to come up. Back to 50-50. The legs are going to scissor towards each other. Lunge decompression. We're standing tall, expanding into that rotation. Hands come up, the knees squeeze towards each other as we spiral ourselves up. 2 breaths here. After your next exhalation, you're going to come back towards center. Right thumb meets the palm into our archer, the hips leading the way. When he's ready, hip comes around. Let's go 3 reps here. Slow and controlled. Take your time with this exercise. Notice the elbow is staying active as he draws back on that bow. 1 more rep, Eric. Really reach this elbow. Hold right here. We've got strong length, hand to elbow. Now he extends the hand. When he's ready, he's going to let that hip come around and finish. He's just going to shake it off.
Yes, he is.
He's going to kick my butt for that workout.